Hello, welcome to project number 3, To the Resources. This is an EFD 620 group assessment plan project. And today we're going to talk about planning and writing, essay type questions, principles for writing those questions, activities and resources to use as you write the questions, and then rubrics to use to grade those essay type questions. So let's introduce our group. We had chapter 8, writing test items, essay test items, and I'm going to let our group members introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Julia Congo. I'm the recorder.
I'm Frank Warren, researcher.
I'm Shelby Reynolds, group leader.
I'm Sam Couch, researcher.
And I'm Caleb Hayes, the PowerPoint builder.
Okay, so I'm going to talk first about our first point, the importance of writing effective essay test items. So multiple choice tests and true, false, and matching are easy for teachers to create and to assess, to quickly grade and give feedback, but they don't really measure the complex cognitive skills that students have. And sometimes students are just lucky guessers. So essay test questions are actually a better measure of what students actually know and to determine if they've mastered the concepts or not. It also allows us to challenge students to display the analyze and evaluate and create cognitive levels on the Bloom's taxonomy. And it also, another importance of writing test essay questions is you have to align it with curriculum standards and learning outcomes. So on the next slide, I'm going to show an example of those learning outcomes and the difference between an outcome and an essay test item. So let's move to this slide. So this is an activity. A learning outcome for this type of question could be provide examples of formative assessments. So that's the learning outcome. So an essay test item that would go along with that is displayed here. Basically, they're going to make a claim about whether they agree or disagree with the statement, and then they're going to defend their answer with 2 pieces of evidence. And if this was an actual PD session, we would challenge the teachers in our audience to take about 10 minutes and write a learning outcome and a essay test item to go along with it. Okay, I'm going to move to we'll move to our next topic.
I'm going to discuss the principles of the writing essay test items. The first bullet that I will talk about is to provide an overview of the key principles for writing effective essay test items. Essay has to be well constructed. It has to be off of unity, support, coherence, and strong sentence skills. The introduction has to grab the reader's attention by the thesis statement. Typically, the thesis statement aligns at the end. And then you go into your body. Your body has to be the supporting in detail of the thesis statement. You have to elaborate more of how your thesis statement wraps around what you're talking about, and then you finalize with your conclusion, which pretty much summarizes and the review and the purpose of the aim of the essay. Next, we will talk about this. We will discuss the importance of a clear and concise wording. You have to have a wording that's easy to follow and easy to comprehend. You want your readers to easily follow your writing and comprehend what you are saying. You don't want them to have to guess or be confused of what exactly your purpose is of your writing. The next thing I will talk about is highlighting the need for a well-defined criteria and expectations. You have to have an idea of how you want your essay to flow. It flows with the central idea. You have to have supporting clauses in an organization. Your organization is very important. It has to flow so your readers can understand and comprehend what exactly you're saying. That's why your body is very important. It has to wrap around your thesis statement. Then we move on to explaining the significance of addressing relevant content and concepts. The biggest thing is do not lose your readers. Do not lose your readers. You have to include current content. You have to include information that they understand. Sometimes we get lost in our words and during the essay, so you have to be very You can't use broad words. You have to be very precise and be very detailed. Next, I will pass along to Mr. Frank Warren.
I'll be talking about enhancing essay test writing skills. For me, allowing for enough time to construct the essay question. Right, essay question takes thought and therefore time. And the next bullet, keeping the objective in mind, making sure the essay questions align to the instructor object. Otherwise, the value of the question will be compromised. And my third point, avoid an optional question. When creating an assessment, the instructor must choose which test item will best assess the student learning. Therefore, do not include optional essay items on the test. Require all students to complete the same item to increase validation. And my last point, involve your peers in the process by asking your peers to analyze and provide feedback on your appropriate essay test question prior to administering the test. And that's my point. We'll move on to Sam.
Okay, well, as Julia and Frank did such a good job of explaining, one of the first things as you're working on your rubric is you need to make sure the rubric aligns with those structured questions. If the question is so open-ended, then it's hard to include everything on the rubric. So start with that structured question and begin to work your rubric from there. Your rubric really helps you with that predetermined scoring scheme. Teachers, when they're grading an essay, can grade differently from student to student, and it really helps you to be consistent. That's the last thing. Once you get that predetermined scoring system, it helps you to be consistent no matter whether you may like or dislike the student or what you may know or know about them. It helps you to keep your own personal judgments out of the way. On the next two slides, we have included two different types of rubrics, just to show the different ways that you can evaluate. One's about a defensive basketball essay question, and it includes basically exactly what the students need to know and write in their essay. And then the next one's about reading comprehension. So again, if we were in a professional development class right now, this is when we would challenge the group to write their own essay question and then develop a rubric from that. So let's see what Caleb has to say next. Hey, Caleb, unmute.
Yep. Thank you. Sorry about that, Sam. Our meeting focused on the importance of writing effective essay test items for assessing students' understanding. The principles of writing essay test items were discussed with emphasis on clear and concise wording, well-defined criteria and expectations, relevant content and concepts, and also prompts that stimulate your critical thinking and analysis. The activities that were conducted to enhance essay test item writing skills, such as analyzing sample essay test items, brainstorming essay prompts, and evaluating and providing feedback on each other's essays. Our rubric assessment also introduced with an overview and its components and criteria. And then our faculty that were our attendees worked in groups to develop a sample rubric and share and discuss the rubrics created by different groups. All right, going to the next slide. What can you do next? You need to review the notes and key takeaways that you got from this meeting. Organize and review your notes from today and ensure that essential information is retained. Develop a plan for implementing new strategies. Determine which strategies you learned today are most useful for specific situations and contexts, and plan to incorporate them into existing test item creation. Number 3, set realistic implementation goals. Set achievable goals for implementation and consider timelines and target areas for that implementation. And number 4, collaborate with your colleagues. Share the new knowledge and techniques that you gain here with your colleagues to promote a culture of effective essay test item creation. Hopefully, by actively implementing and refining these strategies, You teachers and educators can improve your students' education quality and optimize their assessment practices. And going to the last slide, that'll be our reference slide.
All right, I will go over. No, you're fine, Caleb. I will go over the evaluation and the feedback that we will do. So at the end of your lesson, or at the end of this slide, you want to receive questions and concerns from your audience. And then you also want to provide a QR code to complete a Google form that just goes into asking different questions about how everyone felt about the information that they received. After that, then you'll be able to use that to figure out what worked and what did not work. And I will pass along to Shelby.
Okay, so here are our references for where we got a lot of our ideas and our resources as we brainstormed. So we wanted to share those with you. And we hope that you enjoyed our presentation on writing essay test items. And thank you for joining us.